Some stories simply defy explanation. Life presents us with real challenges, and I found myself in the middle of one of them. My wife, with whom I shared my life, decided to leave for her boss. I watched her walk away, leaving me with a broken heart. But what happened a month later shook me to my core. My wife returned in tears, heartbroken and devastated. In this video, I will tell you an amazing story of infidelity, where fate plays its dangerous game and drama unfolds at the most unexpected moment. Are you ready to dive into this world where love and betrayal collide, where tears heal and destroy at the same time? Prepare to be immersed in a story where secrets are revealed and decisions have unpredictable consequences. Welcome to Amazing Tales of Betrayal and Destiny drama, where each step leads us into the unknown and reveals our darkest sides. Get comfortable and let's begin. I don't know what to do right now. I'm both eager and anxious, and my mother won't let me. No, on the contrary, my mother is encouraging me too. Okay, I'll start at the beginning. My name is Yuri. I'm 33 years old. I've been married to my wife for 10 years, and we have a 6-year-old son. Lita and I were in the same group at university, and I'll tell you right away, her character, I admit, is not good. She always thought she was right in everything, even if it wasn't true. Our relationship didn't start out smoothly either. All the years we studied together, she couldn't stand me, or so it seemed to me. I have a soft character and couldn't always stand up for myself. In general, as they say, I was a pushover, trusting, and tried to avoid conflict. And besides, I was aiming for a red diploma. I was a straight-A student. Though I am not unattractive, I must confess I did not have much success with girls. You wouldn't believe it, but I remained a virgin until the age of 23. Litka, on the other hand, was the epitome of beauty, almost glamorous. She could have any guy she wanted. Although I always liked her, I never thought she was out of my league. And then, in our 5th year at one of the student parties, I decided to take revenge on her for her endless teasing by forcibly kissing her on the lips. She was taken aback at first, and then burst out laughing. I thought she was going to hit me, but she just doubled over with laughter. She was laughing at how I didn't know how to kiss her and was not able to. She asked, "Virgin, go?" I blushed and said yes. This amused her even more, and as if she woke up with a newfound interest, she had already had a decent sexual experience by then. From the party, we were already walking together. On the way, I bought flowers, champagne, and candy, and she dragged me to her rented apartment, where I first came to know a woman. During that sleepless night, she taught me all the wisdom of this art. She was the first and only woman. Then we started living together and working at the same place after graduation. She did not pursue her specialty, and instead became the administrator of a nightclub. We got married and I started my career. Together with my parents, I bought a 2-room apartment, and then my son was born. She went on maternity leave, and the nightclub eventually closed. For a long time, Lida did not work as she was occupied with the house and the baby. The money I earned was enough for us, and we lived well. I admired my family and did everything for them. I indulged my wife in everything. However, our relationship began to deteriorate when she found a job. Not right away, but 6 months after that. Although I tried to dissuade her, she would not listen. She said it was boring and that it would double our family budget. Lately, I began to notice that something was not right with her. She would go from extreme to extreme, showing me tenderness and affection one moment, and then anger and annoyance the next. I'd already gotten used to her reproaches, tantrums, and scenes. Then she started coming home late from work and keeping secrets. She even said she was going on a business trip for 10 days. That's when I realized something was wrong. I talked to her colleague and found out that she had never been sent on a business trip and had taken a vacation at her own expense. Her colleague told me that she had been having an affair with the deputy director for a long time, and everyone knew about it. He even left his family because of her, and they were now on vacation in Turkey. It was a top secret, even though the whole office already knew about it and whispered about it, even under the threat of being fired. I felt like the ground had fallen from under my feet. When she came back, she understood everything from my reaction. She said, "Well, it's good that you know everything." I couldn't find the words to express how I felt. She told me that she had met another man and that they were serious. She said that after the divorce, she would leave the apartment to me, and that I could see my son whenever I wanted. She asked me not to blame anyone, as it was just the way life was. Yuri, she seldom called me by my first name except in bed, and not always. People come and go, and I am not an old man yet. I will meet my fate. Anyway, I took the baby's things and left. The world just collapsed for me. Family was always my top priority, and in an instant, I lost everything, even the meaning of life. I drank for 3 days without a hitch, and before that I had never consumed alcohol. I did not go to work until my boss came to my house and shook me up. At work, I did everything on autopilot. I forgot about everyday life. The house was a mess. My mother came over a couple of times to console me. In general, I withdrew. I did not even want to see my son. 3 weeks passed. When I returned from work, I saw that the apartment was clean and tidy. The floors were washed, my clothes were washed and ironed, the fridge was full of food, and all the alcohol that I had was gone. I didn't give it much thought, assuming my mother had stopped by. I called her, and she said it wasn't her. The next day I found my son alone at home. I felt like a fool for forgetting about my child because of my worries. We spent the whole weekend together. On Monday, I took him to daycare. That same day when I came home from work, I found Lyda at home. She was sorting out her things. When I asked her why she was there, she calmly replied, "Actually, I live here. Yura, you probably forgot that this is my apartment too." I reminded her that after our divorce, she promised to leave the apartment to me, but she brazenly replied that she changed her mind. And as for the divorce, it was up to me. I didn't understand anything at all. I decided that her lover had cheated on her, took advantage of her, and threw her out for someone younger. Then I said I'm leaving. I called my mother and told her that Lidka was back, but I didn't want to live with her after her rite of passage and was moving in with her. But my mother firmly refused, saying that I should be grateful that the family was back together. When my father left her for a younger woman, she did everything she could to bring him back into the family. And when he died 3 years ago from cancer, she buried him, not the mistress. And I didn't even fight for her, or do anything to try and get her back. I just drank and flushed my life down the toilet. Anyway, my mother said that she would only let me visit her with my daughter-in-law and her grandson. The woman was confused. She made a mistake. It happens. We are all not without sin, and I should forgive her. I felt defeated and said, "Well, don't stay. The hell with you," and went to bed in a separate room. That same night she came to me and the male instinct took over, and feelings had not had time to cool down. I will not deceive myself. I did not stop loving her, even after her betrayal. Anyway, we had the same experience as on our honeymoon. When it was over, we both lay there in silence for a long time. Then I asked her why she came back. The lover had left, and then she tells me she dumped him. I asked why she would catch him with another fling. Did he decide to go back to his wife and kids, or did he promise to get married and cheat? She sharply answered, "You are a fool, Yura. You didn't understand a damn thing. And you are a candidate of science." She told him that he had asked her to marry him, but she turned him down. Why? 'Cause she couldn't get me out of her mind. She thought about me every day, how I was hungry and filthy here alone. I said I didn't believe her, and I don't have to take her word for it. She slipped me her smartphone, and from the correspondence, I realized that her lover was offering her everything in the world. He promised to make her golden happy, begged her not to come back to me. To which she replied that happiness is not in the gold, and if her husband does not forgive her, she will raise her son alone. While I was reading this correspondence, of course, it was disgusting to read it all, I heard her burst into tears. I could not believe my eyes. In all the time I had known her, I had never once seen her cry. I asked her why she had done that. Was it because of money or her career? She replied that no, she and her lover had the same position in the firm. He wooed her beautifully, with romance, and she apparently confused passion with love. And then she asked for forgiveness. For the first time, I begged her for forgiveness, saying that she realized how much she loved me. And so I want to turn to you, dear listeners, for advice. How should I proceed? With all her appearance, she shows that she repents, that she made a mistake, that she stumbled. I am not gonna lie, I still love her, and I would very much like to believe her and forget her betrayal. But I don't know if I can. I've never been with anyone else in my whole life except her. And what can I say? I've never even kissed anyone else in my whole life except her. I told her I can't do it right away, that I need time. I feel bad without her too. But after everything, in short, I don't know what to do, so please advise me. Friends, dear listeners, I also want to say a few words. When I first read this story, somewhere in the middle, I was firmly convinced that this is a specific 9 on our scale of the stag. But then, reading to the end, again for the first time, I thought, hell yes, the man just converts. But here is his situation. The woman is apparently really interesting, so to speak, really naturally ashy, and plus he has won. It certainly is a very hard mistake, to put it mildly. And that's what happened. So, yes, asking for advice, in principle, still some kind of reindeer deed. He essentially did not commit, well, okay, let's omit, except that he let his wife into the house, listened to his mommy, and slept with her, with what I mean. So what I would like to say, dear author, unfortunately, whatever it is, practice shows that people never change. And where there was once, there will be a second and third and fourth and so on, until the couple breaks up, until one of the partners gets tired of it and leaves the family. As a rule, women do it less often, but judging by your fiery lady, she's quite free to make her own decisions. You have to realize that this is all very easy to set up. Correspondence, some promises, not promises, it's not important. You saw in the correspondence that he was offering her mountains of gold. He was asking her not to come back. Maybe she was pressuring him to marry her quickly. Like, I'll go back to my ex, and that's it. Goodbye, darling. And he asked her at that time, and so they got together. You probably did not look at the date of sending these messages, and so they got together. Maybe he got tired of playing around and decided to change it all, so to speak, at the root. After which the wifey quickly retreated and returned to the warm and cozy house, which, I take it, judging by your story, did not smell particularly good at the time of her return. Now you are just a tool to help her achieve her goals. Her main goals as a woman are to raise her son, have a family, shelter over her head, food, and all the good of humanity. So in your place, I would take the eggs in my hands and run as fast as I can, as they say, because you are waiting for the same fate. I do not know, 2 years, well, maximum, but maybe even faster, and maybe this lover will start for her again. Courting prudently, and now she, poor woman, will mistake passion for love again. Oh God, how sweet and romantic. Oh, I cannot. This is of course all jokes. Actually, I wish you strength and courage, patience and determination to take the first step and leave the man who does not love you and who has already betrayed you. He betrayed you once, he will betray you again. So, I wish you good luck and fortitude. Luck and fortitude. And now on to the second story. Close your eyes and imagine the most unbelievable plot imaginable. My life was torn apart when I found out about my wife's secret affair with her boss. A desire to know the truth led me to take a risk and follow them to their apartment. What I saw there left me in complete shock. My wife was sleeping with her boss, like it was a secret they kept from me. I was left as a mute witness to this betrayal, and my heart was torn apart. In this video, I will tell you the amazing story of a cheating wife, where jealousy and betrayal intertwine, and the dramas of fate reach their climax. Are you ready to dive into this world where secrets are revealed and decisions have unpredictable consequences? Get ready for a journey where truth and lies merge and fate plays its dangerous game. Welcome to the amazing stories of wife cheating and fake drama, where nothing stays hidden and every move can change everything. Hi-oh. I have read a lot of different stories after finding out and talking to a psychologist, and I have come to this conclusion. If anyone thinks that after a wife has an affair, her behavior and attitude towards her husband deteriorates, or that she is always looking for a reason to fight, then I tell you, my dear, it is a myth. I am 37 years old, and my wife is 6 months younger than me. We have 2 children, the oldest is 14, and the youngest is 11 years old. We have been together for a total of 16 years. Yes, there were arguments, mostly due to financial struggles and lack of housing in the beginning. We had to live in rental apartments and with our parents in cramped conditions. But now we have a 4-room apartment and a comfortable life, and we both work. It may not be luxurious, but it is enough to live and raise our children. I found out about my wife's affair accidentally one evening after dinner. My daughter was asleep and my son was in his virtual world. My wife came home later than usual, saying she wasn't hungry, and rushed into the bathroom. I noticed she had a second phone, which I didn't know about. She kept it hidden in the bottom of her bag, and the sound of notifications gave it away. Her phone was on the nightstand in the hallway, and I heard the sound of messages coming from it. She was still in the bathroom, and I am not one to snoop or check other people's correspondence. But in that moment, I couldn't resist my curiosity. I grabbed the phone and saw a message that said, "I'll be waiting for you at the same time on Friday. Can't wait to see you, my baby." I quickly put the phone back, feeling like the ground was slipping from under my feet. I felt a darkness in my eyes and poured myself a drink. My wife came out of the bathroom, as if nothing had happened. Through gritted teeth, I wished her good night. For a nice steam, she asked me about sex tonight. I told her that I was in a bad mood, but I decided not to throw a fit and checked everything properly. I took Friday off from work and spent the whole day in the car. I rented a car for the day and left mine as a deposit near her workplace at 3 p.m. She left the office building where she worked, and I followed her. She caught a car and drove, and I followed them. I couldn't believe what a jerk I felt like. I stooped to the point of watching my wife's every move. In general, I felt like a jerk. I followed her to a Peking duck restaurant where she was meeting someone. They hugged and kissed in a way that was far from friendly. They sat there for about an hour, then hugged again before getting into his tour rig and driving off. They stopped near a house, hugged again, and went inside. I decided to go home and talk to her. She came back at 10 p.m. We put the kids to bed, and then I showed her everything. She denied it as much as she could, but eventually confessed under my pressure. This had been going on for years, and I never suspected a thing. There were no outward signs. She asked me what I was dissatisfied with, but I couldn't come up with anything. She was always attentive, loving, and pampering. The children never lacked for motherly attention, which I appreciated. She is married with 3 children and has no intention of leaving her family. She says that I am a good husband and that our family is a priority for her, but she also needs her own outlet and personal space. She believes that sexual fidelity is not the most important aspect of a family relationship. When I asked her what specifically she didn't like about me, she said everything was fine. But she's not like most people. She is polygamous, and one man is not enough for her. She has only been with married men with no commitment. She had a 1.5-year-long affair with one man, but we broke up when he started pressuring her to leave me. He left his family for her. The other affair lasted 2 years, but they broke up when he became too involved in her family life and started questioning her relationship with me. Now she is seeing a business partner from her company. This all started a year after our daughter was born. At first, I was disgusted and ashamed of myself for not seeing the signs. If it weren't for our children, she says she would have tried to kill herself. She's been seeing psychologists and psychiatrists. She even went to a sex therapist, witches, and magicians, but to no avail. At most, she was satisfied for 6 months, and then she started to go crazy. Now she says that once everything is cleared up, she will accept any of my decisions. If I decide to divorce her, she says she will understand me. But she also says that the doctors told her she can get over it at any time, that she is struggling. She was afraid that I would not understand her if she told me everything at once. Maybe with my support, we could have solved this problem together. She carefully hid it all to avoid hurting me, and if she turned off the phone, I would not know anything. She loves only me, and those men are just for the sake of intimacy and communication. I asked her if she was afraid of infecting me, and she said she only chose married men with a normal status and without the need for contraception. It has only been a month since she made this decision. I have not yet decided what to do about her. We sleep in separate rooms, She constantly yells, and I have to calm her down so the children do not see. The children love her very much, and of course, they love me as well. As a mother, she is great, I must admit. She's also a great wife. You know, it would be a sin to complain about our economy or intimate life. Sometimes she even takes the initiative. It can be risky in this regard. The only issue is that neither she nor I have our own place. We have fought over this apartment, both of us. She has 2 children and nowhere to go. Her parents live with her older sister, and they are all cramped in a small space. If I go to my place, there's no work there. The children will suffer, and my son and daughter will have to leave their familiar room. I don't know what to do. I have consulted many psychological forums, and they all say to get a divorce and not live like neighbors. They suggest that I let her continue living her life while I live mine, and eventually, a woman with a crib will come along and leave. I truly love her and see how much she is suffering. She says she loves me, and I believe her. She just cannot control her wandering tendencies, but I also do not intend to put up with it. The other day I caught up with my friend from college. He moved to another country, but we still keep in touch from time to time. You know how it is with some people, you may not talk for a while, but when you do, it feels like you never stopped. He asked me how life was, and I told him everything. I have very few friends here, especially ones I can share details with. He lives far away, but we have known each other for over 20 years. I confided in him and he comforted me. Now I will read you his message. Hello, buddy. I sincerely sympathize with you, as I myself have gone through all this nightmare. Now I will probably summarize, but I will try to make the meaning as clear as possible. I must say that it will be difficult, but it will help if you get into it and do everything correctly. So having broken the situation into different parts, I have come to some global conclusions. The first and most important one is to forget about the infidelity for now. Instead, think about accepting life and its gifts as they are, without trying to change the real world to fit your vision. This is crucial and must be accepted as a given. For example, in winter, we don't wear swimsuits on the street just because we want the sun. We understand that it's cold. Similarly, we have a certain attitude towards life and people, and how they should behave in different situations. In our case, you believed that cheating was impossible, but it turned out to be not true. It doesn't matter why it happened. Don't look for someone to blame. Don't blame yourself or your wife. It happened, and you should approach it not from the perspective of your wife, but from the perspective of your life situation. Life, in this matter, didn't turn out to be what you or I thought, so we were both wrong. That's the whole point. And you just have to accept it. Again, you have to accept that our view of life can be wrong. It's difficult, yes, but it's necessary. Now, here's another thing that may make your brain boil. The thing is, you, just like me, are trying to treat this person the same way you did before, but it doesn't work, really. I thought for a long time about why, and suddenly it hit me. Attention, this man is gone, he died, and in his place is a completely different person. An exact copy of the one you or I loved, but it's just a copy, it's not him. Your beloved wife has passed away. It must be accepted, then your brain will stop giving itself conflicting thoughts, and you won't feel like you're going crazy. That person doesn't exist anymore. You can honor her memory in your own way, but she's gone. For example, I went to a cafe in the evening and said goodbye to her, telling her that I will love her for the rest of my life, in my mind, of course. And then I said goodbye. The result is that my brain, after these difficult but not lengthy procedures, came to its senses very quickly. The depression is gone, and I have completely reoriented myself. Before, my wife was the most important thing in my life, but now it's my work and my children, whom I love very much. I'm not going to search for great love anymore. Love because it does not exist. All women are very much the same and spend the rest of my life on them. I'm not going to. If there will be passion with pleasure, I will be involved. But no more. I will raise children. I did not divorce. We lived together. Somehow I did not give a damn. I don't get divorced. I live together. I don't care what she thinks about me and so on. I have changed myself completely inside, and my priorities have changed and some have disappeared. I am not mad at her. I am not offended. I can only say she is stupid. Sometimes I even feel sorry for her. She seems to understand it herself. Stay with her or split up? It's up to you to decide, but try to fulfill 2 points. It helped me and broke the deadlock. And even if you divorce, do not look for great love. It does not exist. Treat women as they deserve. I do not mean rudeness, of course. You cannot let them into your heart. Categorically come to yourself. Love yourself as you once loved her. The strength to you, my friend, dear listeners. It seems to me there is nothing to add after such advice from my friend. If you do not agree, well, excuse me, this is the strongest text, which probably should have been somehow fixed on the channel. Don't you think so? What do you think? How to deal with this text? How to bring it to as many people as possible. Men who have faced their wife's infidelity, I think it would help a lot. I share this technique. I agree with its effectiveness. I will not say why. I will ask you, friends, to give your advice to today's story, today's author, as he asks for it. And I want to thank you for watching our videos, putting your likes, comments, and also subscribing to the channel. It is very important for its development. Thank you for this. See you soon!